What's going on YouTube? It is Mr. Ferguson here once again. Thank you guys for coming back for another video here in Central North Carolina. Appreciate the loves, the support, the likes. Thank you to all the new people signing up on the channel, following our journey here in North Carolina with our fescue lawn. We are surviving the heat, trying to survive the summer. We're preparing for the summer and trying not to do a whole lot of overseeding. We're trying to survive. And so we're trying to, here on the channel recently, we've talked a lot about fungicides. We've talked a lot about summer, and we're going to continue with that theme today, diving right into it. Today, guys, we're filming this in 4K because I can do 4K when I keep it kind of brief, and I think I can keep this one brief to the point. So I hope you enjoy the higher quality video. Let me know below if you enjoy 4K. I'm going to talk about lawn watering. I've not done a lot of videos on watering the lawn, but just to cover a little bit of the basics of it. We're not going to get too deep into the do's or don'ts. There's a lot of opinions out there. But one of the things that I did in my research, and I may put up over here if I saved it, that one of the things is our lawn needs about 1 inch to 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches of water per week. Now, whether that comes from Jesus rain, as I call it here on my channel, I call it Jesus rain because I believe in Jesus. I believe in the Lord. Whether it comes from the sky, whether it comes from us watering it through either via a well or our city water, our lawns need about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of water per week. Now, we can overwater our lawn. We're not so much going to get into that today, but the point of the video is I want to show you the sprinklers that I've used and have used, some of them older than others, that I use on my lawn to get my watering done. So we'll get to that in a second, but our lawns need about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of water per week. And so one of the methods that's been out there that we've talked about briefly on my channel is that we can put out our sprinkler. We can take a container like a tuna can, if you've heard of the tuna can challenge, and you put it out there for about 20 to 30 minutes and see how much water is in there. Can you get, 1/4 of an inch? How much water can you get in a 30-minute time period, putting that out there under the umbrella of the sprinkler? And it gives you an idea of how much water you're putting off in a 20 or 30-minute time frame. So typically last year when I was watering my lawn, I would do about 20 minutes with my sprinkler per section and make sure I cover each section in my lawn. That was what I did. Of course, I told you it was a very high water bill in doing that in a city municipality, a small town here where we pay sewer fee and water fee. So anyways, with that being said, that's kind of what you want to do. You want to get your sprinklers out there. You want to put some type of container under it. Put a timer on for 20 to 25 to 30 minutes, and then check that container. How much water did I collect in the container in 30 minutes? And it gives you an idea of how much water is going down. And then again, our lawns need about 1 inch of water a week. So it's important also, as I've said last video in the 5 tips video, we kind of need to be mini weathermen and weatherwomen. We need to see how much rain did I get. Fortunately for me, Mr. Kevin across the street has a weather station, and it tells us each time it rains, and we can go back and check the history and see how much rain we got overnight, and that's useful for me. Maybe a weather station is something that would benefit you, or is a simple rain gauge. So with all that said, real fast, I'm going to drag a hose over here and just quickly show you guys the 3 sprinklers I use, why I have 3 of them, and show you the different ones. So let's get into it. So we'll start over here at the side of the house. And one thing also is at Lowe's, you may want to attempt quick connect fittings. I've got some on my sprinklers. I've got some on my hand nozzles. This hand nozzle from Lowe's, this Orbit, has done pretty well. So if you see this one this year and you're looking for a good hand nozzle, this one's been pretty good. I would buy it again. I got one on the other side as well. But getting back into it real fast, we've stretched a hose out here. But here is, this is one that I bought at, I believe I bought this one at Lowe's. You can see the brand name Gilmore right there. Got a quick connect on there, just got a little thing. This is what I use, guys, mainly when it's a windier day out here. If the wind is blowing all over the place, the trees are going crazy. This guy is going to cover roughly 1,000 square feet. I don't know, we'll hook it up here in a second. But it is more to the ground. It spews up in the middle here, and it also broadcasts it out in a circle pattern. And so we'll hook it up and show you real fast as we let you know. This is the one that I use when it's windy outside, so we make sure that the water hits the grass and not blows away into the air. So forgive me for the side of the house getting hit with water and the splashing noise. So I would say the pros to this is obviously what we just said. It stays low to the ground. It's a circular pattern, and I'll try to walk around it here because I definitely don't want to get wet when it's 50 out here, and it just rained last night, so I look like an idiot out here. And I've got it crooked, so forgive me for that as well. It doesn't look the best, but it's low to the ground. It broadcasts it way out. As you can see, I've got it over here, and it's shooting all the way past to the propane tank at least, and that's not all the way with full pressure, but it keeps the water low to the ground. It shoots it up in the middle. It has good coverage, and it throws water everywhere quickly. I would say the downfall to this one, it's a circular pattern. Sometimes that can be tricky when we're putting it in areas like right here, and with that circular pattern we cut the corners sometimes in some areas, and it doesn't get the water that the middle of the lawn gets, so that can be sometimes the downside. Otherwise, this particular one has done great for me. I've had no issues with it. It stays low to the ground. It gets the water where I need it, and I run it about the same as the rest, and it's been a great sprinkler. So the Gilmore low to the ground, circular, I think 1,000 to 1,500 square foot. Recommend it. Good for me, and had no issues out of it. So back to the front yard. Here's number 2. This guy, I want to say, is a Melnor, if I'm not mistaken. I bought this one about 2.5 years ago. I ordered this one on Amazon. If I find it, I'll link it. I don't even know if I can find it anymore. But this is one that shoots it straight up in the air, which you'll see in a second. But I liked this one because you can control the movement of the sprinkler to not go wide, to go full turn down here, or to keep it inside this area right here that you set up. That is perfect for me with the property line by the trees here. I can set this right in the middle, get those things set right, and it goes from side of the house to property line, and I don't have to worry about it. I can just set it there, and it's not throwing it all over the neighbor's cars or the neighbor's lawn, and it's not going all over the house and up on the roof. It's perfect for this. It does go up in the air though. So again, on the cons on this one, on windy days, it can blow all around and not get down to where it needs to get. But it does cover, it goes way up in the air. The other con I would say is some of these holes right here are now beginning, there's a couple in the middle that are clogging, and it is a 2-year sprinkler, so it has been used, and you can see it's fading from the sun setting where it's set on this side of the house as well. But it's been a good sprinkler. It goes way up in the air, so as long as you don't have tree issues, like I don't use it here because of the tree. I use it mainly on the side and in the backyard. So let's turn it on and I'll show you how this operates. So without getting wet, when it just rained last night, you can see it looks like, yeah, that middle one is still, we're just on the edge of it. The middle one right here is still out. That port is not. You can see right here, it is shooting right here, but it's not making, that's why there's a gap right here. So it's not, it's just like our sprayer, our flow zone or whatnot. We've got that gap. So that can cause some areas to be dry. It's older. It's probably time for it to be replaced. But would I replace this one? Absolutely. I think it's been a great one. But again, being able to control, where it's at, and you get that, it's not rounded off like the other one. It is shooting way high in the air. So depending on your pressure, as you can kind of see there with some of the water, depending on your pressure, that's going to make a difference. But this one, I've enjoyed it. I need to replace it. You do get gaps. It can, in the wind, blow all around, but I've enjoyed this one. So this type sprinkler, sure recommend it, but it's worked for me, and I continue to use it in my lawn. All right, and our last one here, I picked up this last year at a Lowe's in the Knightdale area. If you're in North Carolina, this is where I saw it, and I was like, interesting. And the purpose of this one is it's kind of the in-between of the other two. It has no name brand written on it, but these middle 2 poles will raise. You can loosen this up right here, and this guy will come up in the air. I'm not going to adjust it now. It's hard with me holding the camera, but you can loosen the top black part. It'll raise up, and that's about as high as it goes. It goes a little bit higher, and then the rest is just the connect and a kickstand to push it into the ground, where if you're using humic products, that shouldn't be a big problem. But this guy is kind of, I bought this for the ditch line. This one, the purpose that it serves in my videos, if you haven't seen it, is I'll put it in the ditch line and it's able to go up and be high enough to raise the water to get on the bank right here by the road, because it was an issue. When I would use the high one, I would have to put it basically on top of the bank and it would blow, like I was telling you, blowing the road, and I'm wasting water. And I'm like, man, there's got to be a better solution. With this guy right here, I'm able to put it in the ditch, keep it raised up, and I'll turn it on in a second, and it's able to do this whole section over here, but also throw water up on this bank right here and accomplish watering it. And especially this corner over here near the neighbor's mailbox, that's one that I was always missing before. But with this new one in the ditch, it's able to cover all of that. It is a circular pattern, so another downside, but let me turn it on and show you what I'm talking about. So again, we're in the middle of the lawn, but you can see it's throwing it out pretty far. I mean, that's almost half of the front yard. If I was to position it correctly. Looks like my disconnect or my quick connect is malfunctioning down there, so that typically doesn't happen, so disregard that. But it also throws it up in the middle, throws it out to the sides, and again, you can raise that little stick level higher to be able to reach more areas instead of being low to the ground. So it's the other one on a stick, if you would. So no cons on this one yet, besides maybe I've got one now if my quick connect don't work, but it broadcasts it out again. This is doing probably half of my front yard. On the back side now, it's probably hitting about where the bank begins to upslope, so it's not fully covering the whole entire front yard. I typically do it here, I do it closer to the bank, and then I do it 4 sections here, 4 points. That's typically what I do. With the trees here, this one is a mix. When it throws it up, it can throw it into those branches. The branches can drip it back down. Sometimes that's good or bad. So the lower one sometimes is better by the tree. But consider that. Are your sprinklers correct? When you're out at Lowe's, consider, hey, I've been needed to do this. Mr. Ferguson was talking about a Lowe's sprinkler under my trees. Grab you one for 20 bucks, try it out, but get a quality one, because there are cheaper ones out there that I've used. It's just pieces of crap. Get something in the $20, $25 range, $30 range, give it a test. If it's not right, take it back. Take the time to take it back. So let me cut this off, as we've got plenty of water in this lawn, and we'll close out this video. So thank you guys for tuning in today. And again, with the quick connects, they're good and they're bad. I use the Orbit ones or whatever that Lowe's sold a couple years back. So I've got all my quick connects, but as you just saw with this, it's spewing out water and I would have to fix it. Anyways, turn it back off and walk, and it can be annoying. So there's no great solution that I found for quick connects, but it does make it better than screwing it all the way in, screwing it off, putting back the handle, unscrewing it, put the sprinkler on. I would rather, I think, deal with the quick connect. But I hope that helps. I hope that helps you with the sprinklers I use in my little yard here. Obviously, if you have a bigger lawn, you're going to want some of the big daddy ones. I think Pete at one time sold some big sprinklers that shot, you know, 5,000 square feet at a time or something. Mr. Blake, the channel member that I told you about with his company, he purchased one of those, I do believe, and said it works, but sometimes you'll need pumps for those as well. So there you go, guys, in 4K, there's my sprinklers. Wanted to bring that to you ahead of summer. If you see these sprinklers and you're interested in them, you liked the low versus the mid versus the up in the air, I've got all 3 for that very purpose. Maybe that's something you need in your lawn. Hope it helps. Keep those tips in mind about watering. We want at least 1 inch to keep our grass alive this summer, if we can afford it, if you're on city water like me. God bless you. We'll see you guys on another video on Wednesday. Take it easy.